Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
Hello everyone, welcome to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Julia McKee, a sports media student here at Arkansas State University. Brad Bobo is the Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement for the A-State Red Wolves. A familiar face and voice to the A-State fans, Bobo was the radio play-by-play broadcaster for A-State women's basketball games from 2003 to 2015, before taking on the same responsibility for the Red Wolves football, baseball, volleyball, and basketball broadcasts on ESPN+. Mr. Bobo, welcome to A-State Connections.
Thank you, Julia. So I hear you read that, and I'm sitting there seeing it, and I'm thinking, man, I'm old because that means I was calling games before you were born. So thanks for that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Listen, you've been doing it for a very long time.
That's just, old. That's what happens.
So today, topic of conversation is the historic football game between the A-State Red Wolves and the University of Arkansas Razorbacks this Saturday.
Holy cow, that's this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Ooh. Okay.
What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, it's a big deal. Honestly, it's been kind of interesting. There's been some discussion as to, is it at its peak, quote, big dealness? Maybe not. Just would it have been even a bigger deal 20 years ago? Maybe. But it's still significant. Obviously, something can only happen the first time once. And, I saw a note out this week that, there are 32 states that have multiple FBS football programs, and 31 of the 32 states have seen games against those programs. So this was it. This was the last state in the country that had two FBS programs that hadn't played each other. So I'm glad we're coming off the list mostly. That's the biggest thing. Just glad to finally lose that as a talking point come Saturday.
As someone who has been from Arkansas their entire life, this was definitely something that I am looking forward to. But as A-State people, what do you think this game means for Arkansas State?
That's a good question. For A-State people, I just think it means whatever it would mean to you if you went for years and years and decades and somebody just said, I'm not fooling with you. Like, you can't, we're not going to share the sandbox. And I get it, right? I mean, you look at whether it's in this case or in business, people that have monopolies don't really just volunteer to give them up. I understand. But, it was past time. So, I mean, I saw this, go back to, 1987, and I was not at the 87 men's basketball game in Fayetteville, but I was calling the 2005 women's NIT game here, and that's what you just saw. You saw just A-State fans turn out in droves to release years and years of pent-up frustration, and so you do have some of that. And I think some of that has been released in small doses because you did have the women's basketball game, and because Arkansas, has changed its philosophy on in-state competition. So you've already seen, I think women's basketball games each of the last 4 years. You've seen baseball games in that same stretch. We've seen their soccer team has come over here and played a spring match. They're on the volleyball schedule against each other. So it's not as pent up. It's not quite the pressure cooker for A-State fans because they have had those different releases, but not like seeing those two teams on the field together in a football game, which we'll do 2 days from now.
Yes, sir. I'm very excited. For those Arkansas State fans who are going to the game, what will the game look like in terms of tailgating opportunities and then the game itself? So
the first thing I'd want to say, and we've been delivering this message for months, and still, now we're 2 days out, and we're still having to deliver this message, and that's fine. So I want to say it here, and I'll even look here and say it. We are the road team. I know we're not going to Fayetteville, but this is not a neutral site game. So the first thing I tell you, you're going to see what the game's going to look like. You're going to walk in War Memorial Stadium, and it's going to be a big hog painted in the middle of the field. They're the home team. That's been a pretty constant thing we've had to remind people because, and I get it, like you can think, well, you're not playing them on their campus. It's two teams from the state playing in the state capitol. It's a neutral site. It's not. So when it comes to parking and everything game related, we're the visitors. We got to play by their rules. The parking, I imagine, will be problematic. The parking lot on the old War Memorial Golf Course, which is the paid parking, will open at 6 a.m. And it will fill up, fairly, mid-morning, mid to late morning probably. I know there are neighborhoods around War Memorial Stadium, a couple of businesses, maybe even a church or two that sell parking around there. So, just don't expect to drive right up and pull into a parking spot. That'd be my number one note to fans making the trip down there. And then, tailgating wise, obviously, this is going to be such a cool event. That kind of the official A-State tailgate that our folks and alumni have done a great job spearheading is Wild for the Red Wolves in the Little Rock Zoo. The zoo would typically not be open on a game day at War Memorial, so we've rented it out. And it's going to be just for A-State people. And the response to that has been phenomenal. So that's going to be quite the scene. It's really going to be really, really cool at the zoo. And I know there's going to be other pop-up tailgate parties all over the place, but our official gathering spot Saturday is the Little Rock Zoo.
I think that's going to be awesome. I remember when I read that it was going to be at the zoo, and like you said, that was not a thing. I had never heard of that. And being from that area, I love the zoo, and I think that's just going to be a super awesome place for the A-State fans there.
Yeah, and the director is an A-State alum, which is a cool twist.
That is an awesome twist. So we talked about the game for the people there. Where the people who are not able to attend the game, where can they watch it?
So this one's streaming a couple places, ESPN Plus and I think SEC Network Plus. I'm not sure you could have one without the other. I'm not as familiar with SEC Network Plus. I would think if you had ESPN Plus, you could probably get to that. So I think our fans who can't get there and who are used to the majority of our games being on ESPN Plus because of how much Sunbelt content is there, for a lot of them, it'll be the same place they're used to going and finding the Red Wolves.
Yes, sir. What do you think the rest of this football season is going to look like?
Well, I think, obviously it's too early to tell. I doubt many coaches, especially in this day and age of the roster turnover the way it does, I doubt many coaches in the country feel real confident that they've got a real grasp on what they've got right now, even after playing a game. That'll sort itself out some more this week for everybody. But I anticipate a good season because, look, there's only been 4 teams in the country who the win total has gone up 3 years in a row. And that's what Coach Jones has done here when he tore it down for a complete rebuild in year one, and in each year since, the win total's gone up. And to 8, not that many teams won 8 games in a bowl game last year. So if that trajectory continues, it's going to be a great season. And, I don't want to sort of gloss over or skip past the fact that, oh, by the way, we may be playing the highest ranked team that's ever come here next week, depending on what happens this weekend. Iowa State's coming here, and they may be the highest ranked team that's ever rolled in here. So I get it. I understand why people spent the last 4 years talking about Saturday. But in the grand scheme of things, let's not forget that Saturday is one of 12, and we've got a really, really big one on ESPN2, so a worldwide audience able to watch what's going on here on our campus next Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Like you said, the Arkansas game has been the main focus, but gearing up for that game as well, especially a home game, I know it's going to be pretty awesome. What are the different types of promotion and fan engagements that are going to take place during the games this season?
To my overall at home games?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think hopefully folks saw a couple of the fun new ones this past weekend against against SEMO. I know we've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of response. One of the big ones from a fan engagement standpoint, I think, is we found a couple of different ways for kind of your phone as a fan, your phone to plug you into the game like never before. So there's going to be 2 times in each game where literally, like, you're used, and you know this, a lot of times you're doing these fan cams, and you're trying to put people on the board, and they're looking around for 3 or 4 cameras trying to find their way on. Well, we've changed the game there to where now everybody with a phone can have their own fan cam and literally put live video from your phone on the board. People were eating that up because I'm sitting there kind of watching all these populate. And as soon as the QR code goes up, the screen just fills up with people trying to get on the board. That was really, really fun. And same thing, too, with your phone, you had to use it, scan the QR code and answer a poll question during the game and watch the results kind of change in real time. So that's been one of the coolest things I think we've added from a fan engagement standpoint. Next Saturday specifically against Iowa State, kind of we've themed that game a one-pack party, and St. Bernard's has stepped up. They're the game sponsor, and they're providing what you may have seen in some sporting events over the summer, even inside the NBA Finals, and they were big at the Women's College World Series. It's kind of this new promotional item called Bang a Banner, which you're going to be handed as like a sign you can hold, and it's got Red Wolves signage on it, but that sign will also, it's perforated to where it will fold into a fan if needed. But then when you got it folded into a fan, it's also a noisemaker where you can just take it and bang it on your hand, bang it on your leg, bang it on the wall, whatever. And they make a good amount of noise. So it's kind of tri-purpose. We'll have 2,500 of those next Saturday afternoon. And so that's, kind of specific to that Iowa State game, because even if you don't consider yourself a big sports fan or a football fan, next Saturday, not this Saturday in Little Rock, but next Saturday here is a 4-hour commercial for Arkansas State University, for Jonesboro, and really for Northeast Arkansas. So, we need everybody to help us put our best foot forward. Opportunities like that, broadcast opportunities like that, are a humongous recruiter of students, not student athletes, students, because people are just going to be scrolling their TVs on a college football Saturday, and they're going to land on a game at Arkansas State. They're going to stop and watch for a while. What do we want them to see? And there's example after example of that in real life. And the biggest one is like when Nick Saban got to Alabama, the enrollment was 23,000. When Nick Saban left Alabama, the enrollment was 40,000. You can't tell me that what they did in football in that stretch wasn't a big reason it jumped as significantly as it did. So we kind of take our role as the front porch of the university seriously, and so we need everybody's help when we've got this big opportunity next weekend.
Yes, sir. I'm very excited for these next 2 games, football related. Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement, Mr. Brad Bobo, joins me on A-State Connections. We'll be right back with more A-State Connections after this.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
Welcome back to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Julia McKee. We are continuing our conversation with Brad Bobo, Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement. Mr. Bobo, thank you again for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we talked a lot about football.
Yep.
Football. These next 2 weeks are going to be super interesting and amazing to watch. But I also want to mention volleyball. They were regular season champs last season, coming off of a historic season. What do you think this season is going to look like for them now?
Well, I think, as you mentioned, they won a regular season championship, but don't forget that they were picked out of the 7 teams in the Sun Belt West last year. They were picked to finish 6th. And won not just the West, they won the Sun Belt regular season championship outright. They've got the bulk of that team back. Now, Coach Gerwig, knowing what he had, he has put a stacked schedule in front of this team. The first weekend they played Ole Miss and then a ranked Georgia Tech team in Atlanta. And then as hopefully folks are watching this either live or on Thursday, let them know that they're home tonight with Mizzou, University of Missouri from the SEC, rolling in here tonight, the First National Bank Arena at 7 o'clock. And they are, I think, ranked 16th in the polls this week. They're the highest-ranked volleyball team to ever come in and play Arkansas State. So huge opportunity. Really gave Georgia Tech fits. Lost a really, really competitive match against Georgia Tech on Sunday and get to come right back home and get another crack at a ranked opponent tonight and tomorrow.
I stayed up to date with this past weekend, and I was very interested coming off of that win against Warford. And then, like you said, that Georgia Tech game was very, very close. What do you think tomorrow they play at Valley View High School?
Yeah, so let's talk about tomorrow, and because I do want people to know about this that may not be already headed down to Little Rock. Just with a scheduling situation where there's a concert at the arena, and we were going to get Mizzou for 2 matches. So it is tonight at the arena. Encourage everybody to come out for the regular season home opener at 7. Tomorrow night at 6, we're going to play Mizzou again. We're going to play them at Valley View on their campus in Blazer Arena. For that match, admission is free. Now, we are partnering with Valley View on that they are wanting to conduct, and they will be conducting a food drive for their backpack program to help the kids in their district. So anybody, admission's free, and there's no obligation, but anybody that will bring a donation to that food drive is going to receive then a ticket to our October, I think it's 18th home match against Texas State, which is going to be one of the more pivotal weekends in Sun Belt Conference play. The 2 teams picked 1 and 2 in the Sun Belt West. So you can come watch A-State for free tomorrow night at 6 at Valley View, and if you then bring a donation to that food drive, we're then going to turn around and hand you another free ticket to catch one of our biggest conference home matches of the year next month.
Out of the season lineup, that Texas State game, do you think that's the game that you're most looking forward to?
Well, I mean, it's obviously early, right? No, you're still a few weeks away from conference play starting. But, I mean, on paper, they're 1-2 in the West. The 2 teams that played in the Sun Belt Tournament Finals last year. So, I mean, on paper, yeah, that's a big, big weekend for both teams. Now, you got a lot of business to conduct between now and then to make sure when it gets here, it's still a big thing. But right now, yeah, on paper, that's a huge weekend.
Yes, so definitely wanted to highlight volleyball. But now another topic of conversation is men's basketball.
Okay.
So can you give us an update on what this season's going to look like? Rebuilt team, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the short answer is I don't know but I'm confident. Obviously, I think people understand the situation where you had a coaching change, and in this day and age, especially with a sport with a roster that size, a coaching change, no matter why you had it, a coaching change is likely going to mean a complete roster flip, and it did here. There are no players back from last year's team that want to share the Sun Belt title. Coach Pannone, who I would encourage you, hopefully sometime you guys can put him in this chair, because he's a fascinating guy, and he's legitimately an X's and O's genius. I mean, for real. He's because of the amount of time he spent in international basketball, it's true to say he's world renowned for his ability to do X's and O's. So I can't wait to see him in action. Can't wait to see this roster he's put together. So, and I know people are kind of waiting anxiously for their full schedule to come out. It's been hard. I'll be honest with you, just be frank. It's been hard for them to get games. Believe it or not, people aren't lining up to want to play them right now. Given the couple of years they've had and given Coach Pannone's reputation, they've struggled to get the schedule full. So looking forward to them, and certainly looking forward to seeing Coach Dez and the women too, a team that was picked next to last in the conference and ended up going to March Madness, won 17 of their last 21 games. And she's got 5 players back from that team and has retooled around them. So basketball, I know we got a little bit to get there, but my goodness, basketball is going to be fun for both squads.
I'll say you beat me to it. That was going to be my next question, was women's basketball, because that is another team that I'm ready to see them back on the court.
It's really fill in the blank, and I hope people understand that, like, we are on one heck of a run right now. You look over the last couple of years, each of the last 2 years we've broken a school record for the number of Bubas Cup points we've scored, which is the all-sports trophy in the Sun Belt. Everything seemingly is on the uptick. I mean, there's really not one of our 16 programs you can look at right now and say, well, they're kind of down. It's unbelievable to be able to say that, because out of 16, you think something's got to be kind of down or in a rebuild, and it's really just not the case. Everything is in good shape. There's not a lot of places in the country I can say that. So it's a pretty special time. I hope our fans and even those of us working right in the middle of it, I hope we take the time sometimes to stop and take a step back long enough to go, man, things are going pretty good, and enjoy it while it lasts, because there's no guarantee that it stays that way.
Yes, sir. From the athletic department point of view that we have, I know it's going to kick back up around November, and that is a little bit of ways away, especially that we're mid-season or starting season with football. Are there any basketball games, men or women, that you're really looking forward to, or any fan engagement bits that are
Well,
set in stone?
I think that will come later. I mean, obviously, I would tell you this, opening night in college basketball, which I think is Monday, November 3rd, they've already put out the matchups for the first go-round of the MAC Sunbelt Challenge, and they hand-picked those matchups. So the women are starting at home on the first night of the season. We'll drop the banner for the Sunbelt Tournament Championship that night, but they're going to have they'll have a marquee matchup, because we're going to be picked, closer to the top of the league or right at it. So right off the bat, same thing as the men did last year, where they opened against I think against Akron in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. It's going to be the same type of matchup for the women this year, where you're going to see one of the best teams in the Sunbelt against one of the best teams from the MAC on opening night of college basketball across the country. So before we talk about anything that happens after that, you don't have to look any further than the first night of the season and start making your plans to be at the bank for that one.
Yes, sir. What do you think is on the horizon for the athletic department?
I hope more of the same. I hope just more winning and more stacking up championships. There's no reason right now to think it would be any different. It is a wildly kind of changing time for athletics, and I know we put out some different ways. I think our fans, even in small increments, can help us out. Where now, when you go to concession stand at a home game, you can round up your purchase to the next dollar, and so you're talking about just change, but I mean, change piles up, and actually it worked. We did that at the SEMO football game, and with good success. That will continue. People got their first look probably at the one-pack jackpot, which is now, because of a change in the laws in the state, we're able to do a 50-50 giveaway. This one is already open for the Iowa State game, so you can already go to redwolvesfoundation.com/jackpot and buy your tickets right now for the one-pack jackpot that we'll give away in the fourth quarter next Saturday against Iowa State.
Oh, super, super interesting. We're talking a lot about home games, home football, home volleyball, and then eventually basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Where do students and A-State fans get these tickets?
Well, I mean, students, you've got it, right? I mean, students, your ID will get you in. I hope all the students that might be seeing this, if you have not, you need to download the Flare app and join our group, our student group called The Den, because every time you go to a home event as a student and you check in at that event, you build up points that you then can turn into kind of some exclusive merch and stuff that's only going to be available to students who are a member of that group. We've already got close to 600 students who have joined that online group. So again, the app is Flare, or you can go to astateredwolves.com/theden to get that downloaded and join the group. And then obviously the stop for everybody except students is always astateredwolves.com/tickets.
Yes, sir. Kind of personal question.
Okay.
Like I said in the opening, you have been here with A-State Athletics for a very long time, wore a couple different hats.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, what is your favorite sport to work, and then why?
Oh, man. In some way, I've told people before, it's kind of like being a dad. You're not supposed to have a favorite kid. That's always the answer. I don't think it's probably a big mystery that I've been, go back to your intro, I've been the most closely connected with women's basketball, having traveled up and down the road with that program, for 12 straight years and still getting the opportunity to do those TV broadcasts. So if you were going to really hold my feet to the fire, I'd probably say just because of the connection there, maybe a lean. But here's the thing, and this is the deal with me. I don't care if it's one of our 16 teams. I don't care if we're playing rugby or we're debating somebody or it's the Tiddlywinks team. If you've got Arkansas State on the front of your shirt, you're my favorite whatever thing you do. And so that's really what I'm looking for. Just show me a Red Wolf and I'll cheer for them.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to say too. But obviously, prime football season, we're in that part of the country where football is like the thing. But like we said, you talked about women's basketball. I'm super excited to see this season coming off a win, and I know your history with them that you're very excited to watch them too.
Let's go. I mean, it's be here before you know it. Like I said, exciting times. Like I said, we'll just get where we go. See everybody Saturday in Little Rock, but right now, already been making your plans to get here next weekend against Iowa State.
Yes, sir. And that will do it for this edition of A-State Connections. To keep up with A-State Athletics from my point of view, make sure to follow @TheMcKeeMedia on Instagram. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Brad Bobo, for joining me today. And don't forget to tune in to the historic Arkansas State versus Arkansas football game this Saturday at 4 p.m. I also want to say a huge thank you to the instructor of creative media production, Galen Perkins, and his amazing students of Video Production 1, who are behind the scenes running this show today. I could not host this show without them. Special thanks to our producer today, Mr. Jonathan Reeves, and to our broadcast engineer, Timmy Arquette, Aiden Barber, and our graduate assistant, Reese Barnett, for their help on this show. Until next time, and as always, go Red Wolves.